What a week, folks. Week 13 has come and it is gone. Thank you for joining us for the Wrap Up, truncated version of the Wrap Up. I guess when I look at the theme and the highlights for this past week, what do I think of? I think of the toilet bowl, and I think of proud franchise. Franchise is the owner is basically saying, to the premier bracket, not so fast. You may get yours this year. But overall, I'm going to get mine this week, and I'm going to fucking punch you in the mouth. And that really does seem to be the overall theme for the week. Ice Up also brings it. Ice Up tried valiantly to get it done against, I'm going to call him Minute Maid. And look, overall, when it comes to a franchise name, it's not about the franchise name. It's about production. And all this could be a moot point, and it could be a way for Teagues, who clearly has established himself as one of the premier franchises, at least as of right now in the league. And he's getting the production. You're getting the production, Teagues. But this name changing of, 1 minute to the next, I don't like it. It's setting a bad precedent. Prove me wrong, son. Prove me wrong. And really, the overall difference here is basically going to be this man doing his thing.
Is intercepted by Bobby Lander. Only the quarterback to defend. Bobby Wagner with a touchdown.
Statement game by Teagues for this performance alone. What does Bobby Wagner actually get in this matchup? Bobby Wagner gets, I'm looking at the wrong one, I want to say 28 points. 28 points. And Teagues runs away with it, 149 to 122. I know for Ice Up, son, going into the Toilet Bowl semifinals against yours truly, you got to be somewhat happy. At the same time, though, Ice Up getting 122, is that a vote of confidence or is that just a dignity play? I guess we'll find out. On to our next matchup. You have Mind Freak versus Jerk Brack in a low-scoring affair, mind you. Drew Brees, I already called that out. The points were already there, 7.28. Dougie Fresh Martin, perennial Josh Herman, jerkback favorite, comes in with at least 12 points. Dougie Baldwin gets 10 points, 2 receptions, 22 yards and a TD. And then the Minnesota Vikings coming in with just 5 points. And for Mind Freak, he's gotten a lot of criticism for it, but really one of the difference makers was this man, and this touchdown is enough to get it done.
His first catch is a touchdown.
Arguably one of the shittiest NFL receptions ever. I mean, he's from Detroit Lakes. He's got the Minnesota pride going for him. I like that. But when you're doing celebrations like that, I mean, you might as well be from fucking Oaks, North Dakota, or somewhere in the fucking Peace Garden state. You can do a little bit better. And I'm not trying to hate on Thielen. I love what he does. I love what he brings to the table. Who comes from Mankato and plays football at the pro level? Maybe the CFL level, but at the pro level, and to lead in wide receiving the way that he's doing this year, full credit. Tip of the cap to you. Next, we've got Sterl versus Ditka Cranberry battle. This really was, in many ways, the game of the week. At least if you want to go to down to the wire action. On Sterl's side, Goff only gets him 8 points. Mixon gets him 11. James Conner gets 22. Josh Gordon steps up somewhat, 14. Robert Woods gets 18. Cooper gets 13. Great pickup. Seattle gets 21 for D. Chandler Jones also comes up with 13. And then on the flip side, probably bittersweet for Cruddy. He gets the win. Kirk Cousins doesn't do all that well. Jordan Howard gets 9. Tariq Cohen for Chicago gets 41 points. Wake up. Jarvis Landry, Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm sure Cruddy's rubbing one out right now as we start talking about his lineup. I was wrong on Eric Ebron. Mason Crosby, I'm sure belatedly only gets 4 points, obviously missing 2 extra points, as well as a missed field goal. And then, yes, Aaron Donald, maybe the defensive player of the year. Every time I look at this guy's score sheet, I mean, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 5 tackles. He's an offensive lineman. He plays like a linebacker. I haven't actually seen much footage of him. I have barely even watched a whole NFL game all year, for what it's worth. He continues to just light up. It reminds me of like maybe a young DeMarcus Ware from what it looks like on the score sheet. I could be wrong with that. And lastly, I was wrong with the Washington Redskins. Well, they lost. They got 6 points. And fittingly, who actually might have done it over the top for Cruddy is this play right here. And oh my, for Cruddy, the real question is does he get to Jared? Does he get to Jared? Oh, Cruddy wins our Jared of the Week Award winner. So Cruddy, you beat Sterl in the rivalry game. Congratulations. What does that get you? Gets you a trip to the shit bowl, just like the rest of us, son. All right, on to the next matchup. My apologies, by the way, ladies, for how long this has taken. Anyways, Patrick Mahomes, 33 fucking points. Derrick Henry actually did something. He got north than 10 points. I love that. AJ Green, Alshon Jeffery, Calvin Ridley. My 3 studs net me 13 points, but I still fucking took it 2 eggs. Jared Cook, 26. Cameron Jordan, 22. Houston Texans, 18. For egg rolls, I don't think you panic yet. I don't think you do anything too rash. It really comes down to can Eggs actually win a playoff game. I think if Eggs wins a playoff game, he's in the fucking mix. I mean, he's already in the mix. Don't get me wrong. He needs Gronk to get going. I don't know what David Moore is doing out there in Seattle. Brandon Cooks needs to get going a little bit more, obviously. Why is J.J. Watt getting 1 point? I don't understand what's going on with this lineup. I don't know if it's motivation. I don't know if it's just, does Eggs clam up at the end of the year? Is he out-psyching himself? Does Eggs have the powers to actually affect his actual NFL players? Probably not. But if he is that powerful, he's definitely going to be fucked this week. On to the next matchup, brother battle. If I have to face Chips, I will probably lose in the toilet bowl 280 to maybe 60 because I couldn't have been more wrong with this lineup. And I actually did not even see the fact that he does have the 3rd highest points in the league from a scoring perspective. And he is not in the playoff mix. That's really got to make you burn. He finished overall in a tie for top of the toilet bowl. I think he could have actually won if he would have won week 12 and 11, or week 11. He actually could have made the playoffs. So that trade basically is actually worth it for Elke. I mean, for Corey Elke, he doesn't even bat an eyelash here. He still gets 152 points, loses to his brother. It's kind of like maybe giving him a quick hand job or something while you send him down to death row, I guess. I don't know what the correct analogy is, but Tim Elke is a force to contend with for the toilet bowl, but really it's more of what could have been. Although I will say, has anybody scored 200 points this year? And also, Travis Kelce, 45.80 points. I said that was going to be a big factor. That is basically the difference in this matchup. So I wasn't all that wrong. Well done. Going on to our game of the week. It ended somewhat anticlimactic. Sandman, we were talking about him today. I just wonder. He does remind me of Ian Woosnam. Ian Woosnam got his 1 major in 1992, I believe it was, at the Masters. And he was just fat and content to just play golf, hit the ball around, make some putts, miss some putts, it don't matter. He's not going to be on the guy who is going to be the best player to never win a major. Once that was off the schneid for Ian Woosnam, house money. For some way in Sandman, it's kind of the same way. Life is good, kids are good, beautiful wife. He's cruising along, hitting all the Pro Jam shows. Football's just gravy to him. He won the title. First year in the league, 8-man roster or 8-man league. Pretty weak compared to today's standards, but he's got his title. He is not a number that is part of 3 and still searching. If Sandman was part of that, it would be 4 and still searching. And I know that's what Rob wants to make that case to all the doubters and the naysayers out there. As far as Zeke Brown, shitty performance with Aaron Rodgers. Not the best with Spencer Ware, but obviously now he's in a better position with what's-his-name being out of the league. Chubb gets 16. Antonio Brown and Ezekiel Elliott are going to drive this team, I think, as far as going into the playoffs itself. And then Adrian Peterson, really, 1 touchdown for 90 yards. I guess as a backup, it's not all that great, but he's got horses there. Look for Demaryius Thomas as well. Demaryius Thomas as a 2 receiver is going to get a lot of good looks that he was not getting as that 1A receiver in Denver. And I think that could bode well for him, but overall, as far as the playoff mix itself is concerned, he's got an uphill battle. No doubt about it. This concludes this week's wrap-up. I'll work on getting a little bit better as far as not being so choppy. Apologies for the delay. I literally just took a break from work for you fuckers. Anyways, I love you. God bless. Kiss your mama. Good night.
Today that you're not mine to keep. Don't struggle too much now while I kill you in your sleep. What is lost if it's not being by yourself? I won't be gentle to the body on the shelf.